At 80, Goldie Hawn is finally saying the quiet part out loud. And yes, it includes who she does not want anywhere near her funeral. That headline alone sent shockwaves fast, but the real story runs way deeper than one bold quote. This isn't about drama for attention. It's about a woman who's lived long enough, seen enough, and earned the right to speak her truth out loud. Born Goldie Jean Hawn on November 21, 1945 in Washington, D.C., Goldie Hawn entered the world with something unmistakable. And please hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to me. Even as a child, she had that spark, the kind of natural charm and magnetic presence that can't be coached or copied. Raised in a loving, supportive household, she was encouraged to explore creativity early, and she leaned into it without fear. Dance, performance, expression, it all pulled her in fast. That instinct paid off big time in the 1960s when she exploded onto television through a legendary sketch comedy show. Her bubbly laugh, fearless delivery, and wide-eyed humor grabbed America instantly. Viewers didn't just like her, they trusted her. Critics followed right behind, and by 1970, she wasn't just a fan favorite. She was an Emmy winner, locking in her place as a real force, not a passing trend. Then came the leap that ends careers for a lot of people, TV to film, and Goldie didn't blink. She slid into movies with confidence, bouncing between comedy and drama while keeping that warmth audiences already loved. In 1969, she stunned Hollywood by winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for Cactus Flower. The performance was sharp, emotional, funny, and human, the kind that sticks. That win wasn't hype, it was validation. What followed was a run most actors only dream about. Hit after hit, decade after decade, she proved her appeal wasn't fading, it was evolving. Romantic comedies, sharp satire, ensemble favorites, she owned every lane she stepped into. On screen, Goldie radiated positivity, humor, and emotional ease, making audiences feel like they were watching someone they actually knew. But her legacy didn't stop when the cameras shut off. Off-screen, Goldie shifted her energy towards something even bigger: purpose. She became deeply invested in mental health and education, especially for children. In 2003, she co-founded what would later become a major mindfulness-based organization focused on emotional intelligence, resilience, and compassion. This wasn't branding. This was personal. She believed emotional health mattered just as much as success, and she used her platform to prove it. Fame, to her, wasn't just a reward, it was a responsibility. She put real work behind those beliefs, helping children and educators build tools for life, not just school. And now, at 80, Goldie isn't slowing down. She's refining. She's looking back with clarity, not nostalgia. She's protecting her peace, her values, and her emotional truth, even when it comes to her own funeral. That honesty didn't come from bitterness, it came from growth. This isn't the story of a celebrity chasing headlines. It's the story of a woman who knows exactly who she is, what mattered, and who earned a place in her life. And that kind of clarity, that only comes from living fully, loving deeply, and refusing to fake anything, even at the very end. Not every Hollywood moment sparkled, though, and she never pretended it did. In the early 2000s, she returned to the screen in a highly hyped comedy packed with famous names and a massive budget. Expectations were sky high, but reality hit hard. The film quietly fizzled, barely making a dent at the box office, becoming one of those industry cautionary tales people whisper about. Still, that setback didn't break her spirit. Not even close. Soon after, she bounced back with a project that felt more like her. In a heartfelt comedy drama alongside heavy-hitting co-stars, she played a free-spirited woman facing her past head-on. The role was raw, funny, and emotional, classic Goldie energy. Little did fans know That would be her last live-action role for nearly 15 years. Instead of chasing the spotlight, she stepped back, reflected, and turned inward. That pause led to something deeply personal, her autobiography, where she finally told her story in her own words. No filters, no pressure, just truth. In 2005, Goldie pulled the curtain back with her autobiography, A Lotus Grows in the Mud, and she did not hold back. The book laid her soul bare, life lessons, hard truths, and the mindset that helped her survive decades in Hollywood without losing herself. Readers finally got a raw look behind the glitter and smiles, straight from Goldie herself. After a stretch of relative quiet, she didn't disappear. She pivoted. In the 2000s, Goldie started popping back up in ways that still kept fans smiling. Then in 2013, she surprised everyone by lending her voice to an animated hit, stepping into the role of the quirky neighbor Peggy McGee. Her timing was sharp, her humor playful, and her voice work proved she could still steal scenes without even stepping on camera. Then came the comeback nobody saw coming. In 2017, after a full 15 years away from live-action films, Goldie marched right back onto the big screen. Teaming up with Amy Schumer in the comedy Snatched, she played mother and daughter with zero hesitation. Her delivery was effortless, her presence magnetic, and it was crystal clear. She never lost it. The spark was still there, loud and proud. She didn't slow down after that, not even close. In 2018, Goldie Hawn flipped the holiday switch and popped up as Mrs. Claus in Netflix's The Christmas Chronicles, and fans went wild instantly. It wasn't just nostalgia, it was pure joy. Her warmth, timing, and playful energy lit up the screen, and suddenly a whole new generation was locked in. The reaction was so strong it turned into a full comeback moment. By 2020, she returned in a much bigger role for The Christmas Chronicles 2, proving she still had that magic touch. Kids loved her, parents loved her, and longtime fans felt like they got a piece of their childhood back. That unmistakable Goldie glow wasn't fading. It was shining louder than ever. What makes Goldie Hawn's career so wild is that it never followed one straight road, and she liked it that way. From box office misses to emotional dramas, animated surprises, and cozy family hits, she stayed fearless at every turn. She didn't chase trends, didn't beg for relevance, didn't panic when Hollywood shifted. She moved when it felt right. Goldie didn't just survive Hollywood's pressure cooker. She bent it to her rhythm and never once apologized for it. She understood something early that many never learn. Longevity isn't about noise, it's about knowing when to move and when to step back. When a project felt honest, she showed up fully. When it didn't, she walked away without regret. That instinct is why her career stretches across generations without feeling dated or desperate. Her personal life, just as headline-grabbing and just as layered. Goldie's first marriage was to Gus Triconis, an actor, dancer, and director she met through the entertainment world. They married in 1969, right as her career was exploding fast. Fame was rising, expectations were crushing, and the pressure came from every angle at once. While the marriage ended in 1976, those years were foundational, shaping how she saw love, ambition, and independence. That relationship taught her something important. Success doesn't pause for personal life, and balance doesn't come easy when the spotlight is burning bright. She carried those lessons forward, stronger and more self-aware. Not long after, she married musician and actor Bill Hudson in 1976. Their relationship came with creativity, spotlight attention, and non-stop media buzz. Cameras followed everything, opinions flew non-stop, and privacy was almost impossible. Together they welcomed 2 children, Oliver Hudson and Kate Hudson, who would later grow into major stars themselves. That legacy alone speaks volumes. But fame isn't gentle, and real life doesn't play fair. The stress of public attention, career demands, and personal differences eventually pulled them apart, leading to divorce in 1982. Even so, that chapter locked in Goldie's image as a fiercely devoted mother, doing her best to juggle Hollywood chaos with real-world responsibility. She wasn't chasing perfection, she was chasing presence. Her children came first, even when the world was watching and judging every move. Then came the relationship that flipped the whole narrative. In 1983, Goldie partnered up with Kurt Russell, and together they broke every Hollywood rule in the book. No marriage license, no staged red carpet romance, no performative love for cameras, just trust, loyalty, humor, and a connection that didn't need validation. Decades later, their bond is still standing strong. They blended families, dodged industry pressure, and stayed grounded while the spotlight never fully left. Their relationship became legendary precisely because it didn't chase approval or tradition. They proved commitment doesn't need paperwork. It needs honesty, respect, and space to breathe. Now at 80, Goldie isn't just reflecting, she's drawing lines. In a recent interview, she dropped a revelation that stopped people mid-scroll. She spoke openly about her own funeral and made it clear there are certain people she does not want in the room when her life is celebrated. No sugarcoating, no fake smiles, just truth. While most celebrities dodge the topic of death like it's cursed, Goldie leaned straight into it. She approached it with humor, blunt honesty, and emotional clarity. No vague talk. No polite fluff, just boundaries. For her, even the end of life deserves intention and peace. She admitted that some relationships from her past, yes, famous ones, were complicated, forced, or simply never genuine. And she refuses to rewrite history just to make others comfortable. Even in death, she stressed, emotional honesty still matters. That line hit hard, because it cut straight through Hollywood politeness. Goldie wants her farewell surrounded by warmth, sincerity, and people who truly uplifted her while she was alive. No obligation energy, no unresolved tension, no pretending for appearances. It's not about drama, it's about peace. One of the most talked about names she mentioned was Bill Murray. Goldie didn't attack him. She didn't need to. She was calm, clear, and grounded. She said they worked together, shared laughs, and did what professionals do, but the connection never went deeper. I never felt that spark of friendship, she admitted, and instead of forcing nostalgia, she'd rather keep her final moments quiet, meaningful, and surrounded by real love. That kind of honesty shook people, because in Hollywood, politeness often replaces truth. Goldie chose truth anyway. She made it clear that collaboration doesn't automatically equal closeness, and fame doesn't buy emotional access. Then came Dustin Hoffman, another heavyweight name that raised eyebrows fast. Goldie acknowledged they crossed paths many times and shared space in the same elite circles, but she didn't sugarcoat it. There was tension, she said plainly. There was a disconnect. And instead of rewriting history, she chose clarity. She reminded everyone that even memories deserve honesty, not revision. And that's the real takeaway here. At 80, Goldie Hawn isn't chasing headlines. She's protecting her truth. She's curating her legacy the same way she lived her life, with clarity, confidence, emotional intelligence, and zero fear of saying exactly what she means. Her comments weren't cruel. They were grounded. She wasn't settling scores. She was drawing lines. She made it clear her funeral isn't meant to be a Hollywood reunion or a PR moment. It's meant to reflect the relationships that brought joy, safety, and support into her life. Then came Chevy Chase, and Goldie didn't hesitate here either. She acknowledged his talent and comedic brilliance, but drew a firm boundary. If humor comes at the cost of kindness, she explained, that's not the energy I want near me, ever. That line landed hard. She made it clear that laughter without respect isn't enough. For Goldie, kindness beats clout every time. Public praise doesn't guarantee private trust, and she's not bending that rule, even symbolically. Michael Douglas came up too, though her tone shifted slightly. There was no anger, just distance. Goldie spoke with a hint of wistfulness, saying they shared moments, stories, and industry overlap. But something always remained unresolved, and she refuses to ignore that truth. "I want my funeral to feel intimate," she said, "not crowded by obligation or unspoken tension." That statement revealed everything. Goldie isn't planning a spectacle, she's protecting emotional peace. What makes her words so powerful isn't shock value, it's intention. She's not tearing people down, she's curating energy. She's choosing who gets space in her legacy and who doesn't. And she's doing it without apology. At 80 years old, Goldie Hawn isn't just reflecting on decades of laughter, iconic roles, and public love. She's asserting ownership over her story. Her funeral, in her eyes, isn't a stage, a duty, or a social checklist. It's a final reflection of how she lived, honestly, warmly, and on her own terms. The headlines may scream hatred or snubs, but that misses the point completely. What Goldie is really saying is simple. Authenticity matters more than optics. Peace matters more than appearances. And love matters more than legacy branding. And that's exactly why this revelation hits so hard. Because it's real, it's human, and it's fearless. If this surprised you, drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you respect honesty like this. Share it with someone who appreciates real talk. And subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. More stories, more truth, no filters.